Hello and welcome everybody to the January 2021 Member Volunteer Spotlight for KCIT. I'm Rebecca Guanson. I'm a training consultant for KCIT and I'm here with Leslie Davila. We are doing KCIT Spotlight where we highlight some of the amazing people behind the profound work that KCIT is doing. And so without further ado, let's jump right in. Leslie, would you give us a little bit of your background?
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to be part of the spotlight today. My background is in victim advocacy. I've been a victim advocate and a child advocate for over 20 years. I went to school and studied criminal justice and sociology, and it was during those studies that I really understood that there was a role as an advocate for individuals who've experienced trauma. I didn't know what that was, and that's where I learned that. The current position that I have now, I am the director of the Office for Child Needs Protection at the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. I'm also a part-time faculty member of the Community College of Philadelphia, and I teach criminal justice and sociology courses and continue to bring the work and the information about trauma and victimization and violence into the work that I do as well.
That's amazing. How long have you been with KCIT and what brought you to the Keystone Crisis Intervention Team?
So I've been with KCIT since 1999, and I was amongst one of the first classes to actually get trained in the KCIT model. Growing up in an environment that we experienced violence and trauma, seeing it in the neighborhoods where I grew up, it really resonated with me to be part of a response team that would come in to offer service, assistance, and support, particularly as KCIT does to communities that have experienced some trauma, victimization, and other events that really impact the community at large.
With your history with KCIT, are there any moments that stand out in your mind?
There are so many moments to draw upon. I always, I have very strong memories of the responses that I've gone out to, whether it has been a community that experienced the loss of loved ones in that community because of domestic violence, homicide, because experience working with individuals who've been victimized in a bank robbery, or working with survivors and victims and survivors during 9/11 response and the immediate aftermath of that. Those all stand out to me. So to say one, I think what I think of most is the ability to be able to be responsive when people have reached out in need.
Thank you for sharing that. It's important. Do you have a fun fact about yourself that you would like to share?
So fun fact, unusual fact, and something that not a lot of people even know about. In 2019, I was knighted by the Holy Father to the Order of St. Gregory the Great. So very, very profound experience, but a very unusual thing to put on my resume, right? So I haven't figured out how to list that under, qualifications or awards or what. So
that's pretty amazing. I don't know how many people can follow that kind of fun fact, So in closing, for people who are watching this, what would you say as far as why become a KCIT volunteer? Why take a KCIT training? Why become trauma informed?
So as a volunteer, I think that you learn a lot. One, you're able to bring and participate in the community information, be part of a healing journey that communities unfortunately enter into. They didn't ask to experience the traumatic event, but we're able to help them process and make those connections between their reactions in the moment, their mind, their body, and explain all those things that are sometimes unexplainable and how your body reacts. And I think those are the key pieces of the KCIT model. As a trainer, I know, and as someone who's worked in the field for over 20 years, trauma is prevalent. Trauma experiences are very prevalent in society. So as a trainer, I think it's important for all of us to understand trauma, crisis reactions and responses, to know how we can better support individuals who may experience those trauma experiences. And even maybe for ourselves and understanding what happened in our own brains and bodies and minds. And, I think that's the important piece of being able to share that information, creating a situation and a system and an environment, whether it's in a school, and it's in a church setting, whether it's in a workplace, everybody understanding what it is to be trauma informed and to be responsive to those who've experienced trauma.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I'm really appreciate that you were here with me this morning and taking time out of your day to talk with us. And is there anything else that you would like to say in closing?
Yeah, I just want to share and let you know that I co-authored an article that's getting published in the New Social Worker January edition of their magazine of 2021. It should be out any day now. It is called Disenfranchised Trauma, the impact on the indirect victim. And it speaks specifically to my story of being a sibling of someone who was sexually abused as a child, and growing up in that environment, and not just my experience, but what it does to others. So those indirect victims. So if you are interested in that, I encourage you to take a look at that article and reach out if you have any questions.
I'm really excited to read the article. I think it's incredibly salient for the times that we're in now. All right, well, thank you, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.